we start people at this age really working on joint health, working on some of the challenges that you may be just starting with when you're in your 20s to 30s that really are going to show up another decade or two down the line. The outside of the wrist. And so this pathway along the inside of her watch line, we're gonna go just in front of that watch. You know, we're so amped all the time in our culture. We're moving, we're thinking, we're being asked to do things. We're trying to make decisions. And now in some ways for the first time in your adult life, you know, you're trying to make decisions for yourself. Those are hard and they create anxiety. They create some depression in certain cases. A lot of what we need is actually for our nervous systems to just calm down. So we are talking now with a college student and the age group of college students and what they may be going through and why acupuncture and herbal supplements can be extremely effective for this group. Tell me a few things that you and your friends might be dealing with at this age.
Stress from finals, sports injuries,
Friendship problems, yes, right. So as you're in college and you're getting out on your own for the first time, and maybe you're not making the best food choices, and maybe you're staying up late, these are times when you may have some physical breakdowns that you're not used to, right? And so, you know, in your 20s, your body typically recovers pretty quickly. And so you're not necessarily going to be seeing it as a problem, but it's an indicator, oh, something's not quite right. So we want to start working on some of these physical things early so that as you do get into your 30s, 40s, and 50s, when things really start breaking down physically, you are already primed. Your body's already primed. Your body is receiving this message in a way that it's used to and it understands. So we start people at this age really working on joint health, working on, you know, some of the challenges that you may be just starting with when you're in your 20s to 30s that really are going to show up another decade or two down the line. You are trying to work out or you're trying to play sports, and you know, instead of being on a team that you might be playing every day and your coach is watching you, now you're doing it with intramurals, you're doing it on the side, or doing it on the weekends, or maybe you are a college athlete and now you're being pushed a little harder than you were in high school when you were dominating in your sport. And we want to be able to manage through how much more physical strain that is on your body. So many different applications that we can work with just on the physical side, you know, and that's one of the things that you talked about. The other things that she mentioned, and this is what we see probably the most from people in their late teens, early 20s, late 20s, is just the stress and anxiety that comes up with transitions through life, you know. And why would you even think to go to an acupuncturist for something like this, right? That's not a therapist, you know, they're not going to talk me through it. A lot of what we need is actually for our nervous systems to just calm down. You know, we're so amped all the time in our culture. We're moving, we're thinking, we're being asked to do things, we're trying to make decisions. And now in some ways for the first time in your adult life, you know, you're trying to make decisions for yourself. Those are hard and they create anxiety, they create some depression in certain cases. And working with a therapist is fantastic, and having something like acupuncture or herbal supplements that can take your nervous system and just take it down a notch so that you can think more clearly, so that you can have that deeper conversation with your therapist. Those things are invaluable long-term. And just like we've talked about retraining the physical body, sometimes we just need to retrain our nervous systems. We need to retrain the way that our nervous system is operating so that when you do get put under stress, it doesn't immediately flare up into this fight or flight state that we so often put ourselves into, and we do things that are just going to kind of calm it down. And it starts to retrain that so that you now, just like we talked about previously, we may be doing a lot of treatments on you at the beginning to help retrain your nervous system. But eventually, as we do that, your stressors will not create the same level of response that your nervous system has been going through. So that level of reactivity or that anxiety that comes up is managed without medication, without, having to do anything other than the fact that you've been doing something by coming in and helping to retrain your system. All right, so should we put a few points in? All right. We're gonna just do an example of some things that we might do for stress management and calming the nervous system, and that way we can give you all a little preview into that process. So some points that we might do are top of the head, between the eyebrows. There's some points in the ear that we've showed that we could do. All right, so we're gonna do some points now for calming down the nervous system and taking advantage of the opportunity to lay down, put it in a good position first, and just start to kind of settle that system. One of the other things that's important during treatments to calm the nervous system has to do with breath work, and really making sure to put your attention on your exhalation. So when you're trying to calm your nervous system down, you want to extend your exhalation, slow breathing in, and then a little bit longer out. So what we tell people is count to 5 as you're inhaling, count to 6 as you're exhaling, and just do that over and over again. Now, if you're trying to energize, say in the morning, then your breath work would be flipped. You would exhale for 5, and then you would inhale for 6, maybe even hold your breath at the top, and then exhale again for 5, inhale for 6. That's a little more energizing. So think inhale, in, energize, calming, exhale, calming. Okay, so yeah, there you go. So we're gonna go to some points. We're gonna go to the outside of her wrist. It's a very common area that we might use. And so this pathway along the inside of her watch line, we're gonna go just in front of that watch. And then we're gonna do a couple points on the head. Being able to find just a few important spots is incredibly valuable for helping you to just get out of your head and into your body again. And so we do this a lot, especially with people in their teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, however long it, whenever you have this kind of, this nervous system tension, which we all have at some point. So really important piece that we're working on now.